Hello, everybody. This is Arwen Lewis. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Arwen Lewis Show. You just heard I Am the Walrus. It's a clip of that song by Children of FAB, my very special guests on the show today who have released a beautiful EP of Beatles songs interpreted in very timeless ways. That is very fab. And speaking of the Beatles, Marc and Jef, you've both had some experiences in Liverpool. Could you maybe tell me a little bit about that and how it affected, yeah, your perspective and creation of this project?
Well,
Okay.
can I start first?
Yeah, you go,
Because
Jef.
I moved. I had been to England many times. When I lived in Australia, I used to go to England a lot with bands, and then I had a band in the mid '90s called the Ghostwriters, and we moved to London. So um, we played all over England, and we didn't live far from Abbey Road Studios. I always thought that it was odd that Marc, who was so passionate about the Beatles, never had the chance to go to Liverpool. And take it away, Marc.
Okay, so actually, Jef called me one day, when I told him I was going, and he said, "Dude, you're gonna get to walk where they walked, and you're gonna get to go see where they played." And boy, did I! I had a private tour. First of all, I managed a band called the Tearaways, so we
Right.
were on a tour at the end of November, beginning of December. We got a private tour of the Casbah, which is the first club the Beatles ever played in as the Beatles,
Nice.
and there was just three of us on this tour, and John Lennon had etched into the ceiling, "John, I'm back," and I put my fingers up there and touched it, and like I was a total nerd, okay. And then of course, we did the crossing at Abbey Road and went into the Abbey Road store, and and just did the whole thing, and Liverpool, we played at the Cavern. The Tearaways played at the Cavern, so just an unbelievable. And when Jef said that to me, and then I did it, I texted him like, I know what it feels like to walk the same streets that the Beatles walked in.
And
I have never seen Marc. Every picture that was taken of him in Liverpool or in London, I have never seen him smile that big. I've never seen it. It was
that's
just
beautiful.
like, I am so glad you are doing this finally,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, it
And
was realizing a dream.
do you and like do you feel like that kind of gave you, I don't know, a little bit of magic to put behind the release of the EP, like just you know energetically on behind both of your inspirations to
Yeah,
record the
yeah, we were already in the process of doing the release anyway, but it just brought home, like, you know, everybody. There were only 3 billion people on the planet when the Beatles existed.
hmm
Right now, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and most of the 3 billion that were originally there are gone. Right, and the Beatles are bigger than ever now, with 8 billion people on this planet. And I don't even want to get into the whole business aspect of it, but the point is, there's way more Beatle fans now than there ever were back when they were touring and making these records. So yeah, I feel, it's they are the forefathers of rock. There really was nothing before the Beatles. There was Elvis, and
yeah,
then the Beatles, and then here we are.
but there wasn't anything like the Beatles. Jeremiah and I got to go watch Ivor, what's that?
Ivor
Ivor Davis
Davis.
speak last week, and he was talking all about the Beatles, and I remember just thinking, they're imagine like being in America and with them coming to from England or being in England, and all of a sudden this music just comes out of nowhere from these guys. Like it's like of course it drove everybody crazy. Like what would people expect, and crazy in a good way, like with passion about the music. And so, and what a
I
cool
mean,
way that you guys have
it,
interpreted everything, like I keep saying.
it's interesting when you think of a band like Yes,
hmm
which is like totally prog rock. They were influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah. I feel like like
Well,
everybody is like the Beatles were my first influence, Like I mean, just because yeah, they have that foundation, and like you took it, like How did you get these aspects of psychedelia into the recordings that you've made, or do you agree with that? Because I felt like I heard some psychedelic stuff in there.
What
It's easy.
in the Children of Fab
Yeah, it was
recording?
Yeah.
easy.
Well, let's see. Jack and Coke.
The
Yeah.
playfulness of everything.
No, it was just it was like the first song we recorded was Another Girl.
Okay.
And when I said, I want to mash it
A day in the
with a
life.
day in the life, and then Mark goes, "Oh, well, let's put that thing in the front." I mean, as soon as like as he's saying it, I'm already setting up everything. I'm already doing it. I'm
Mm.
already like boom, 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 and at that time, well, yeah, we were recording on Pro Tools, so it
Okay.
was a
I
lot
wanted to ask
easier.
about that too. Yeah.
But whereas yeah, that was on the Children of Fab was on Pro Tools, but I was just like I already had everything ready to go. I'm like doing this and that, and I remember like the last thing we did was the song starts off with me doing Yoko on number 9 when she goes, "If you become naked," and so I said, "Let me try that." In the beginning, and Mark was just laughing like, "You were such a nerd. You're a nerd. You're a
But
nerd."
it's the spirit. You captured the spirit of like, their true essence, which is really awesome. And I wanted to ask too about, yeah, a little bit about your recording process and the materials you used for recording. So was it all digital or did you do any analog?
On this album was all on Pro Tools.
And it
Okay.
was at the beginning of Pro Tools, right? Kind of when Pro Tools
Yeah,
just
it's
started.
like Pro Tools 7.
Hmm.
Okay.
But now it's like God, my studio is amazing now. But with all the new stuff. General Paddock was done analog.
Okay.
That was done on tape.
And do you feel like because you had the luxury of cutting and pasting quickly in Pro Tools, it gave you more freedom to get a little more creative with these arrangements in comparison to General Paddock on analog?
I think the way that I approach Pro Tools is like a tape recorder.
Okay.
So, I'm fortunate that I knew how to record on tape, on analog, so that when I record on Pro Tools, I want it to sound like analog. I'm not, I know what I'm looking for to keep the warmth and whatever needs to be done. As as far as other little like backwards effects, all that kind of stuff, that's a lot easier to do on Pro Tools.
Right. Saves time. Well, awesome. We're gonna get ready to run out to break again, so people are gonna get to hear what we've been talking about. We're gonna take everybody out to break here with your song "Wait." Everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is Arwen Lewis on the Arwen Lewis Show, and you are listening to Children of Fab. We're playing songs from their EP titled "Children of Fab." Collaboration of Beatles songs that they've recorded and rearranged and made sound very interesting and timeless. So yeah, we'll be taking you out to break with Wait and bringing you back in with Tomorrow Never Knows. Do you want to mention anything about Wait or Tomorrow Never Knows before we head out, or do you want people to listen and interpret for themselves?
Let them listen and interpret for themselves.
All right, everybody.
Mark's vocal is beautiful on this song.
On Wait, that's Mark
Yeah.
singing. Okay. All right, everybody, please enjoy Wait by Children of Fab, and we'll be right back.